Hello, everybody. It is that time. It is that time for the Johnny Quantum Show. Tonight's guest, as you can see, Joey Angelo, he's had some things go on here recently. He basically made a video that went viral. I'm Johnny Quantum. I love hopping down the rabbit hole. And I'm going to tell you what, people, this is a deep rabbit hole to hop down. So I felt it was perfect for me to have him on the Johnny Quantum Show. So first and foremost, the Cinderella Man, thank you for being available to come on and tell your story.
And thank you for having me, being brave enough to get lost in this rabbit hole.
Oh, hey, look, some people say they're ready for it and some people were born for it. Absolutely. It's what we do.
Definitely.
Definitely. Well, first and foremost, I got to say, you're doing your thing. Your fights, definitely, you're a very entertaining fighter to watch. You leave it all in there, regardless to what platform you're on. You leave it in there. You train hard, and I got to commend any fighter first and foremost, because to get punched in the face it takes a special breed of individual.
To get punched in the face and then keep moving forward, it takes it. It takes it that you got to be touched a little bit, but it's what we do.
Exactly. In the combat sports game, that's what it's about. So, first and foremost, man, thank you for sharing your story. But seeing that it is the hot topic of the day, let's go ahead and jump right into that. Now, I reached out and I had the team reach out because it's something that a lot of people are saying behind the scenes. No one's really coming to the forefront and really speaking on it the way you spoke on it. I heard what you said and it was genuine. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like it wasn't scripted. It wasn't contrived. It wasn't something. It basically was like, look, I gotta get this off my chest. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, the floor is yours, Joey. Please do tell your story.
Yeah. And anyone who sees my social media, I always keep things light. I always keep things positive. I'm a big, I love the words like grind and motivate. I don't post anything political or anything, all that stuff. But so the video might have seemed negative because it's exactly that. It's negative. It's an unfortunate. It's a series of unfortunate events that continue to happen in the bare knuckle fighting championships realm, and I've been on the shelf for 15 months. And as I expressed in the video, I got offered a fight March of 2020. I wound up getting hurt. I wound up tearing a bicep, which is still torn, but I battled through it. I got offered a fight to fight Dakota, and it never went through due to COVID and all that fun stuff. So I was expected to basically, Nate Shook said, hey, we're going to remake that March card that we had for Kansas. That's the first card back, so be ready. So I healed up, I trained hard, and I never got a call. To this day, still haven't got a call. Wow. They've had 5 events. I've offered to fight in 4 different weight classes, and everyone, they come out with these rankings. I know these rankings aren't made by the BKFC, but they're pretty darn close. And I was ranked second at 185, and then I dropped to 3rd because of inactivity. And everyone's asking, like, dude, why aren't you fighting? Like, why? You're exciting, you show up, you're marketable, this and that. And their guess is as good as mine. Fast forward to January, which is now, and my contract expired because my first fight for BKFC was in October 19th of 2019. It's the last time I fought. And wow. I beat a guy that Walter Barros, tough Brazilian. He went to a draw. Sorry, my dogs are going nuts. He went to a draw with Joe Riggs, and Joe Riggs is a big name.
Oh yes, very much so. The Diesel.
Yeah, and he's no joke. So I was like, cool. If I could beat this dude, I'm in that realm. I'm up there, and I beat him, and it just haven't got the call back. And I think I was exciting. I think, for 185 where I move a lot, I'm excited. And I just haven't got that call. It's unfortunate. I got big dogs.
Hey, look. The furry kids, I fully understand.
So, but it's unfortunate, and like I said, I'm not unreasonable. My management said, you know what, I know due to COVID, this and that, let's you know, we're not going to be able to pay as much, because I know they were still putting on fights. So I think I put on 5 events since COVID hit, which I'm thankful for, because a lot of these guys get to eat. But the price gouging, you're supposed to fight for this, but we're going to offer you the bare minimum. We're going to throw pennies at you. And I said, oh, and I said, why are you offering me such low money? Well, we can't sell tickets. And it was to the point where I'm like, you're definitely taking advantage of this pandemic, and it's disgusting. You know, and I'm not one of them. Like I stated yesterday on the other podcast, I said, I'm thankful that I'm not one of these guys that needs to survive off this fight money. Because if I was, I'd be in trouble. But a lot of guys on the roster depend on that fight money, and they're just gouging them. So it's not right. And the purpose of my video the other day was literally just to get it out there, because I know I'm not going to get anything from this. I want to warn other fighters that are with the BKFC and that are thinking about signing up with BKFC. You're not going to get your what you think you're worth, which is demoralizing, because we train hard, we fight hard, and for someone to go, you think you're worth this, but you're only worth this, and that's all you're going to get. It's, like I said, it's demoralizing for any fighter.
Now okay, so you're signed, you fight. By the way, that was a very entertaining fight, first and foremost. But now, what you said was so heartfelt, because there are a lot of fighters, and I've been a part of the fight game, whether that be boxing, MMA, combat sports as a whole. Yeah. And it's something that a lot of fighters, like you said yesterday, a lot of fighters have things to say on this matter, but don't speak up due to fear of what could happen to their career. What could happen if I speak up? Am I going to be blackballed, blacklisted? Am I going to be completely sat on the shelf? You know what I mean? Like you said, you're fortunate enough to where it's not something that you depend on. But as you know, and you know better than me, because you train with a lot of the guys that fight in combat sports, they depend on that money. I mean, bad enough the pandemic itself has pretty much shut down any local regional promotion. So, a lot of these guys are taking these fights because pretty much they got to put food on the table, regardless to how much the pay is. So for you to actually come out, especially in these times, especially in this pandemic, and really speak on a topic that basically it goes across combat sports as a whole. So, I mean, that in itself is major. Now, do you feel that by coming out, do you think that that's going to have what type of I guess, what do you see coming out and speaking on this?
I've had people ask me like, hey, or advise me like, hey, this might have a negative impact on you signing with future agencies, this and that. I have 2 bare knuckle contracts already across my manager's desk that have already offered to pay me more than what BKFC was willing to pay me. So I did it. There's ways to get your point across without using profanities. I literally just stated facts, and not one person disagreed with me. I didn't say F you Feldman and F you Nate. You guys listen. What they're doing is awesome, and they were able to do, they were able to put other bare knuckle guys on the map, but they're not the biggest. I'm telling you right here, they're not the biggest bare knuckle organization around, and a lot of people don't want to speak up because they feel like you said, we're going to get blacklisted, this and that. So let me be the voice of reason. I know most of the guys on that roster need that money, whether it's $1,000 or whatever. I'll be the reason. I'll be the guy that will say, hey, what you guys are doing isn't right, and be better. That's the whole message, and not just for the organization, but for the fighters. Everyone just needs to be better in this situation. For the fighters, be better at fighting for what you're worth. Be better at negotiating, and and then as far as the promotion, be better as paying your fighters, promote your fighters, like just be better as a collective unit. The BKFC, just like any other promotion, is nothing without the fighters. Let's just face it.
Bingo.
And it's when you're dealing with the staff at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, they're like, listen, you need us. And then they make it seem like you have to beg to fight for them, doing the tryouts, doing this and that. Listen, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, just like the UFC and all these other, they're nothing without the fighters. And that's point blank. We are the majority shareholder. We have all the power. But they play some weird mental mind games to go like, you're nothing. And to an extent, it's true, because me, hypothetically, say I'm like, hey, I want $10,000 to fight. That's what I'm worth. But then you have a million other fighters lined up around my weight class to go, hey, I'll fight for $2,500. Well, why are they going to put me on a card when they got guys? And that's what's killing this sport, and that's what's killing it for guys like me and guys like and that should be able to fight for their worth. You got guys with, and I tell you this. BKFC is pretty smart. They put a lot of guys that are with really, really crappy records, and they know they have crappy records, and they're willing to pay them $1,000 here. Like Toe the Line, those guys are making $1,500. There's no way I could be 0-6. There's no way I'm getting a fist fight with no gloves for $1,500. No way. So, but you have guys, and it waters down the guys like us. Most of the guys at my weight class in BKFC, you got. What is it? You have like anywhere between 85 and 205. You got the Lombards and the Alvarezes and the Robert Moros and the Lorenzo Hunts. These guys should be fighting for good money. We're including myself. We're all exciting fighters, and I know personally some of those guys that I mentioned. I know exactly how much they make because we're all close. And I'm sitting there like, why? Why are you doing this? This is insane. But BKFC knows it's a pandemic and guys need that money. And they know they'll fight for close to nothing. And it's very, very, very disgusting. It's just exploiting the fighters.
Well, I mean, fighter pay has been something in combat sports that, was brought to the attention many moons ago by UFC fighters who basically were like, look, we know what you make and we know what you're making off of us. And we're not seeing that. So, the whole thing with fighter pay, that's been like the big thing. And it's been there for a while. It creeps up, and people talk about a fighters union. They've been talking about that forever and a day. Periodically, some big names will jump back on the bandwagon and say, we're going to do something about it. But it seems like at the end of the day, it gets no traction because of the fact of now, if I do this, what ramifications is that going to have on me or anyone even associated with me? How's that going to affect them? So then they start looking like, well, gosh, I don't want my gym to get blacklisted. We've got some talent in this gym. I don't want anybody to not fight because of my situation. But again, it takes a special individual, Joey, to do what you're doing right now. And anybody watching this interview, anybody who saw your live should understand and respect that, regardless to if they agree with it or not. We live in America. And under all the things that America's going through, everybody's talking about everybody should have the freedom of speech and the freedom of expression. And you, my good man, are expressing yourself, and you're doing it in a very elegant way. And I have to commend you on that because, again, I've been interviewing fighters since like 2008. So I've interviewed fighters in similar situations that you're in right now, and they were hot. Like you said, F this, F that, F him, F him, F him. I mean, literally just running, they just go off the hinges with it. And the fact that you're doing what you're doing in a calm, concise way that's not demeaning, diminishing, you're not devaluing, you're just shedding light. Absolutely. That is beautiful. And again, one of the many reasons why I'm blessed to have you on the show.
I appreciate that. Cooler heads always prevail, Johnny. That's something I've been taught since day one. And, remember, I still have to have a career after this. So it wouldn't look good on me and as a brand to go, hey, I wouldn't look at it. It would look trashy on my point. Hold up. It would look trashy to sit there and curse and this and that. Listen, it's unfortunate. It's an injustice, but I'm just trying to be the voice of reason, and I don't know. And a lot of these guys, and we're talking about the gyms getting blacklisted and this and that. one thing I'm going through, and I've had multiple sources from BKFC because I have good relationships with these guys, and a lot of guys are going, "Hey, you're not getting fights because Feldman does not like your manager." And I'm like, "Say this, I have a very good manager. I've had the same manager since I won my first pro world title. It's like 2016, and there's very few people I trust. I trust him. He pays his own money to fly out. He gets his own hotel rooms. There's nothing in that contract. He is there for his fighters." He's like I tell him he's like an old Italian mother. He's like, "Joseph, come get your vitamins. You sniffled a little bit on your Facebook Live. I got vitamins for you." Like, he's always just looking out for me. He's a good dude. And it's funny because I've been approached by all these managers. All of a sudden, BKFC and bare knuckle managers are sprouting like weeds. "Hey, come with us, come with us, come with us." Those are called house managers. They are working for the promotion and working for the fighter. No manager. And if people want to expand on this, just go look up the Ali Act. There's no way a manager who is working for the promotion you fight for, there's no way that same manager has the fighter's best interest at heart. And like I said yesterday in another podcast, I'm going to get shit for this, but the fighters have to protect themselves. Oh, what's going on, Don? The fighters have to protect themselves. There's no if your manager is working for BK or any promotion you sign with, it's not because they're offering you less money, but the manager's getting side money from the promotion because the manager saved the promotion money by making you fight for less. That's how house managers work. Yeah, these guys are fighting 5 or 6 times a year, but for what, $2,500? It's not worth it. The fighters need to smarten up. We are businessmen too. We are an LLC, and at the end of the day, we're in there risking our lives. After my last fight, and you can look it up on video too. The first thing I did, my last fight was a war. I won by split decision. It wasn't an easy fight. I was all marked up. My opponent's face was all swollen up. And the first thing I did, I looked for Feldman, and I'll find the clip and I'll post it. And I have it in slow motion too, where I look at the Feldman and I'm like, dude, he's the first person I look for. Not my wife, not my manager, not my coaches. I look for Feldman. I was like, dude, what'd you think? You know what he did to me? He goes like this. And I was like, bro, I just went 5 hard rounds, stitched up, orbital blown out. Like, my opponent's like, he looks like friggin' the dude from the Goonies. You know what I mean? He's all
yeah.
all their hearts out. And then you give me this and that. It's because it didn't end in a knockout. I think it was the only fight that went to decision that night was my fight, and then Travis Thompson versus Dat Nguyen. That was it. He doesn't want good, solid fighter. He just wants knockouts, and that's where mismatches come in. That's where this guy's 5-0 and the other guy's 0-5. Of course, it's going to end in a knockout, right? But when we're evenly, he can't appreciate. Even though it's bare knuckle boxing, it's still the sweet science. I'm not running in there like a bar fight. I'm going in there and I'm going to pick my guy apart and move and move and move. The object of the game is still to hit and not get hit. He doesn't appreciate that, and that really opened up my eyes. There's so many things wrong, and it could be fixed with just integrity and just 2 words: be better. Just be better all around. It's not just promotion's job to be better. It's also the fighter's job as well. You have to be better and don't settle. We're fighters. We're a business.
Well, a lot of fighters, and it's very disheartening that a lot of fighters do not look at themselves as businesses. They do not create LLCs. When it comes tax time, they hate what they do for a living and hate themselves, because basically it's almost like they did it for nothing. As a matter of fact, they owe at the end of the year, trying to figure out, like, I just went broke for my passion, literally. But mind you, the kids still need to eat. They still need clothes. The bills got to be paid. But Uncle Sam and the IRS says, I want my money. Yep. And they don't care. So, I mean, that in itself, what you said right there, seriously, what you said before about being a business, your leaps and bounds over, I'd say, well over 70% of the combat sports industry, boxing included, because they just don't get it. Mind you, management's not telling them either. I don't understand how that's even possible. As business people, we as managers understand, I have an LLC. My management company is an LLC. It's run like a business. Do you see what I'm saying? Again, like you said earlier, without you, the fighter, I'm still doing business, but it's not as a fight manager. You see what I'm saying? Because without the fighters, I don't have it. Without guests, I don't have a show. I'd just be talking by myself. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have. You see what I'm saying? I'm still gonna talk because that's what I do.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have guests like yourself. You see what I mean? And you stepping out and really stepping to the forefront of something that has been a problem across the board. I mean, if you just now look, more football players are getting guaranteed contracts now.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Look what they do for a living. I mean, literally, it's like running into a wall at full speed for an hour. You stand there in front of somebody throwing sledgehammers at you for 10 minutes. If you're doing MMA, 15 minutes or longer.
Yeah.
Your lifespan, your fight span, which what Anthony Cruz brought up before, is short. That window of opportunity is short. And if you don't maximize that opportunity, what did you do it for?
Yeah, not the story, not the scars. You listen. I fight because I love money. I want to get rich. I want to be. I always tell people I want no fame, but all the wealth. I love being. I'm a pretty simple guy. I have 4 children, 3 dogs, a beautiful wife. I work for them. I work for my family, and I don't need to drive a Bentley. I don't need to have a $16 million. I'm pretty plain. All the clothes I wear, sponsorship crap. I don't need to. But if you're only gonna do it for the story, I got this. You're gonna be that guy at the bar. Oh, I got this scar from fighting so and so. No, I want to be in front of the cameras. I want to be a personality. I want someone to go, that kid's got it. I don't know what it is, but he's got it. I want to throw money at him. That's what I want. And BKFC has a couple of those, but they're not monetizing it the right way. Like I said, these fighters aren't writing off gym membership as expenses. They're not writing off their meal plan. Their gas back and forth to the gym as expenses because their managers don't teach them this shit. And not every fighter is business savvy, but it's easy to go. What does it cost? Like friggin', I don't know, a couple $100 to open up an LLC. Name it, Joe Schmo LLC, and everything you pay for gets written off. Save your receipts, and go TurboTax it. It's so easy. And then you get at the end of the day, when IRS is trying to gouge you for all the money that you already spent, the little money you made, you still have some. You're like, okay, cool. I wrote this all off. It's such little. Like I said, everyone just has to be better. BKFC, they have a lot of growing to do. But the first mistake they made, especially with the people running it, is that they thought they were, and they still think they're better than the fighters they signed. And Johnny, if I owed you, if you're like, Joe, you still owe me $500. I'm like, bro, I got nothing, man. I got nothing. But yet you just see me on Facebook stunting in my brand new Lamborghini, right? Guy owes me money, but he's over here and he's crying poverty. It's the same thing with me, Dave. I don't want to fight for $2,500. I want to fight my contracted fight pay. We don't have it. COVID, attendance, this and that. All right. Oh, by the way, we just gave Paige Van Zandt $1 million fucking bucks. How does that make any sense? And I've heard the story. Well, the money's not coming from BKFC; it's coming from sponsors. Cool. Pay me with some sponsorship money. Don't tell me you're broke and then you're gonna go brag about paying Paige Van Zandt all this money that she's working for the company and she's fighting for the company. I understand sex sells, and I told you yesterday I'm not a blonde with with big breasts. I'm an ugly Irishman that likes to fight, but I still know my worth. You can't cry poverty, but not be but your actions say otherwise. So a lot of people are pissed off about it, and nothing against Paige. Like I said, I train with Paige. Paige knows who I am. I've trained with her for years. When she was in Invicta, she was climbing her way up. She's a tough chick. Molly Kawa, her manager, really smart dude. But don't bite your nose off to spite your face. Don't sit there and pay all this chick all this money and then leave the rest of your roster, hopefully, suckling at the teat. Hopefully something drops. You know what I mean? It just sucks. So a lot of these guys have a bad taste in their mouth about it. And listen, I'll never fight for bare knuckle fighting championships again. So I'm allowed to say all this stuff. And guess what? Even if and Dave hit me up not that long ago, after months and months and months of getting ignored, just text message, and all of a sudden he goes, "What weight do you want to fight at in March?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to fight at 185, but not for you because my contract expired last week." What are you talking about? You can't just have me fight on your terms. You have to abide by this 3-page contract that you sent me. So they think they're better than the fighters, and it's not right. It's gonna bite them in the ass. And I just want everyone to be better. Like I said, I don't want bare knuckle fighting championships to close down, but I want to get this word out there because I'm looking from the inside out. I'm in there, and I just want everyone to be better.
Now, do you
Message.
do you feel that some of the things that are going on, like with your situation, is a part of, like you said, they're young, it's early. Do you think that that's part of the growing pains, or do you think that that's pretty much par for the course?
That's it, man. Dave Feldman's been in the game for a long time. He knows what he's doing. He knows he's going to invest in his cash cows. He's going to protect his cash cows like Paige and like Hector Lombard and like who else? Well, and I respect Thiago because Thiago took on a tough, but they're feeding Hector Lombard bums. They're I don't know. I don't really know much about Britain Hart. I don't know. She's fighting Paige. I don't know about her, but pretty sure they cherry picked that fight for Paige too. They know that they're going to invest all their money in the top fighters and leave all of us, like I said, clinging for scraps. This par for the course. And they're not. He's not new to the fight game. He just knows how to manipulate it. And the fact that he's completely taking advantage of this pandemic. Yeah, I know his numbers are hitting. And like I said yesterday, I did the math. The next venue they're doing this Knucklemania at can seat 10,000 people. 25% they're allowed? So that's 2,500 people. I saw their ticket prices. If they sold 2,500 tickets at $55 a piece, which is their general admission, what is that, $130,000?
Yep.
So, and they're not. They only have a certain, and then they're selling $1,500 VIP tables. So I don't know the deal with the venue, but they're still making money. They got sponsors. They got, Shaq. Shaq is at every event. I'm pretty sure he's got his hand in it. Like all these guys, they have money. They're just looking for ways to put more money in their pockets and less money in the fighters. That's it. And it's just sad. And they're not going to last very long because a lot of fighters, trust me, after that video, I had everyone hit me up, and half of them were on the roster already.
I can believe it. I can believe it. Now, do you think something like your video and the way it really hit different to a lot of people, especially during a pandemic, do you think that this might be the straw that breaks the camel's back with enough fighters just saying enough's enough and actually starting to look more seriously at a fighter union?
I hope so. And the thing is, because I know a lot of fighters, like they sign into that contract. They're afraid to break it. They're afraid to deny fights. They're afraid to go, you know what, I'm not fighting. But remember, BKFC broke the contract with me, and they thought they were going to have no repercussion. When I told Feldman, my manager said, Dave, we do not want to sue you. We do not want to seek a litigation lawyer. We just want to fight. I want to fight for my money. That's why I'm here. And his response was, good luck with your career, kid. Come on, man. They don't care about us. They don't care about the fighters, man. So it's just I hope it opens up doors. But to the fighters out there, if BKFC is not afraid to break their contract with you, you should not be afraid to break their contract with them. Deny fights. But I'm not fighting. I'll go elsewhere. It's just, and I know it's. I say this to the fighters that that don't need that fight money, but you got to stick up for yourselves, man. We're fighters. We're not only here. We got to be here. We have to because that's what Feldman's doing. Feldman and Shook and all those guys. They're thinking we're here. Feldman was in front of me. I could beat that guy up blindfolded, but that's not why I got to beat him. I got to beat him in the courtroom. I got to beat him where he thinks he has the edge over me, and he doesn't. So we sent him a demand letter. My lawyer, I got a very good litigation lawyer here in Vegas, and we sent him a demand letter. Ironically, it got sent back to me because their address was invalid. So apparently they moved out of state. I know. So I had to resend it to the correct address. And like I said before, I'm not suing them for, and I'm being nice about it. I'm not suing them for damages, all the money I could have made in the last 15 months, emotional distress. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not too proud to say, like, me and my wife had conversations. And I'm sitting here teary-eyed. I'm just like, God damn it, man. Like, why? Like, damn. Like, good luck with your career, kid. I was worth nothing to this company. And yet, I'm supposed to be like, okay, thank you for wasting my time. I'm going to go elsewhere now to fight. No, fuck that. I'm fighting for what's mine. And a lot of other fighters need to do that.
Well, so it's sitting on the shelf. That's the part when you said that really, I'm like, he's got a point. Because if you're under contract and you actually uphold that contract, literally, if you don't get fights, you've got to wait it out. I mean, unlike football, unlike other major sports where you can hold out or you can ask to be traded. When it comes to combat sports, you can't do any of that. So you're literally stuck. Either you take what they give you, if they give you anything at all, or you just sit and lose income. And again, a lot of these fighters, that's a large source of their income.
Yep. And you know what I did for 15 months? I did this. Twiddled my thumbs, watching everyone fight, and I even had Nate. I said, Nate, why is Chris Sorrow fighting 4 times since I fought once? Oh, well, he was willing to renegotiate his contract, aka fight for less money. And that's where it kills me. Fighters are fighting for less money. So like I said, I'm only suing them for my bare minimum fight money. That's it. And I'm being nice about it. I just want what's mine, what I was gonna win if I fought my 2 fights, and that's it. I'm not trying to gouge these guys, but I also want to let them know, hey, more fighters are catching on to your bullshit. And if you don't want to keep going to court for a breach of contract, maybe you should just be better and do the right thing. And fighters should follow suit as well. You know, you're on the shelf too long. You know, my fight career has lasted long because I train smart and I recover even smarter. A lot of these guys only have 5-6 years on their belt.
Yeah,
you know?
It's true.
So I'm 31 and I'm hitting my prime, but I went pro 4 weight classes down in 2011. You know,
right.
So it's just fighters just need to they just need to be better, and these organizations really need to be better. You know, there's so much things they can do right, and they just choose not to because it's easier to do wrong, and it's sad.
Well, again, it goes back to that's why I asked you that question, seeing that you are, again, on the inside, looking out. Is it par for the course? You know what I mean? And you talked about management. A lot of these fighters, you know, don't have management, or their coach is their manager. You said you have a good management team.
Yep.
What can you say about picking a management team to some of the fighters that are watching and will watch this interview on how you've been able to build such a strong bond and relationship with your manager? What are some of the qualities and things they need to look for?
Yeah, I mean, listen, my manager, if the promoter loves your manager, then your manager is not doing his job. He has to fight. He has to nickel and dime. That is the promoter's job is to nickel and dime you, and your manager's job is to get every single nickel and dime that they try nickel and diming you for. So Sandro, he's a boxing manager. He knows the game. He's got a lot of fighters. You know, he's got a lot of world champions under his belt. He's just a good dude. I hung out with him. I hang out with him. I get to know him. I get to eat with him. You know, and maybe it's an Italian thing. You really get to know people, you know, by watching them eat. And I see the conversations. It's open. It's open communication. It's all honestly. And I see the conversations, and he'll be like, "Hey, man, you were supposed to fight, but the money wasn't right." And sometimes it does piss me off. Sometimes I'm like, "Oh, dude, I want to fight." He goes, "Yes, but we're gonna get you a fight, and the money has to be better. Let me do you do your job, Joey. Let me do my job." And I'm like, "All right, yes, sir, I got you." Like you have to trust your manager to do the right thing. My manager works for no organizations. He owns his own agency. He's very close with a lot of organizations around the world. Maintains a good rapport, good relationship, and that's the key. You cannot be your management. If you're a manager, your management logo should not have bare knuckle fighting championships on it. You're a house manager, and that's a huge red flag. Remember, guys, everyone's naturally greedy. They're gonna want to have their best interests at heart. So, if your manager, your house manager, can make a quick $1,000 off you by you fighting for less money and him not telling you, he's gonna do it. I promise. That's what happens. Just have trust in your manager and have someone with a bunch of experience and have someone that's hard-headed. Trust me. There's a lot of times where me and Sandro we banter back and forth like father and son. And he's like, "Hey, enough. Go get some sleep. Let me do my job." And I'm like, "All right, you got it." I trust him implicitly. And look what it takes to be a manager. Anyway, everyone's a manager nowadays. You know what you have to be to be an agent or a manager in NFL, NHL.
Oh, yeah. You need degrees. You need to take. Yeah.
You need to pass the bar exam. Now, granted, my manager's not he's not a lawyer, but he's been in the game for so long, and his track record speaks for itself.
Right.
Nowadays, managers like, oh, I know a guy. That's their credentials. That is their whole rap sheet. Oh, I know a guy. Let me be a manager. It doesn't work like that. Get you a manager, a real legitimate manager that's going to charge you a percentage, and have your best interest at heart. Not a house manager. Not these bare knuckle fighting management team. It's all bullshit. All bullshit. And they're there for their best interest, you know. And I take care of Sandro. Like, if I make some good money, if I make a knockout bonus, he'll get it. You know, I take care of him no matter what, because I love that dude to death, and he has, I don't know, he's just taking so much shit for me, man. He's like my shield. I'm hiding behind the shield because he's protecting me from all these promoters. And I ask him before I ever do I say, hey man, is it okay if I do this interview? Yes, just don't speak about such and such and such, because I can't talk about my contract, right? I can't talk about my fight pay and all these other stuff, but I can vaguely speak about it. I trust him. Everything I do publicly, I run by him first.
Right.
Get you a manager like that. But bare knuckle fighting championships is only using the house manager stables, and it's very, very clear. I mean, it's not. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to be like, hey, so and so management is always, you know, they fought 5 times this year. You know, they just keep pucking from their stables because they pay these guys less money. I don't have a house manager, and look what happened. I'm shelved for 15 months, and I'm not the only guy. So
no, you're not. And I've heard rumblings, of course, you know, interviewing fighters and being a part of the combat sports industry. You hear rumblings, but no one's ever actually stepped to the forefront and said, check this out. I'm not only going to champion my cause, but I'm going to champion the cause. And
Absolutely.
That's what you've done. And that truly should be commended. Truly commended. Because without it, we're not having this conversation right now. And people aren't getting educated because of certain things. Again, if any other time, people should step out of their comfort zone and not be fearful. Now is that time, with everything going on in this country, all the pandemics and the political stuff and everything. Right now, if you're going to truly step into yourself and really put yourself out there, now is that time. And so that's why I asked you the question, do you think this might be that straw that breaks the camel's back when it comes to these fighters and actually speaking up and saying, look, we want a seat at the table? Because without that seat at the table, this will go on forever. Like you said, you'll have those couple of people who will make good money, couple, and everybody else basically will just be what they are. Is that a bull? Is that a Great Dane?
It is. I have a Great Dane. This is Zeus.
Hey, Zeus. You doing, good guy?
Aries. I have a dog bigger than him. Zeus is. He's a good boy. This I'll show you. I don't mean to get off. So this is my boy right here.
Oh, whoa.
Aries. You ever see Turner and Hooch?
Yeah.
That's my French Mastiff. I got Aries, Zeus, and then I have a tiny little Maltipoo named Kratos. So I like Greek mythology. All right, boys, go.
Nice. Hey, they want their screen time.
That's it. They got their own Instagram. They get enough screen time. So
nice.
But no, it's. I hope so, man. Like I said, I see a lot of these guys. Like, for instance, and it's public knowledge, so I can speak about it. Travis Thompson. I fucking love that guy. Travis the Animal Thompson. That guy is awesome. And he just posted today that his fight will be free on his neck. I think he's fighting like Knucklemania. Hold on. Hey, Aries. His dog barks at everything. Hold on. Sorry.
What do you think?
Mania. And for some reason, and I think the guy's got more fights underneath the BKFC banner than I do, or most people. He's on the prelim, so you can see his card for free. Aries, go away, dude. Sorry, dude. These dogs are like kids.
They are. No, they are kids. They're not like kids. They're just like kids.
I gotta make sure he doesn't look out the window. Come on, dude. Go.
Right.
Dogs are nuts. Yeah, so it's and then I commented like, wow, this can't be real. That dude throws down. He will fight. he'll fight me, and I think he's like a 55 or a 45. He's just an animal, literally. He lives up to his nickname, but yet they have him on the prelims. It's like, and he's bummed out about it. He's like, he gives the whole like weird confused emoji, and I'm like, that's the little, and the guy he's got to have at least almost 5 appearances on bare knuckle fighting championships, and yet they just, here you go, you're not good enough for the main card, and that can mess with a fighter's psyche. Like I'm like, it's just when you walk in, like, dude, I fought, this is my promotion, I represent this promotion proudly. Just walking, being around the other fighters and newbies, and yet the newbies got a spot on the main card, and yet you're clinging for scraps on the prelims. It's just not right, It's and Travis is a good dude, so that's a little the little. If you can't throw them extra money, put them on the main card, right? That's a little stuff that they could do for these fighters. Yes, I understand not everyone could be on the main card, but treat your fighters better, be better. So I hope it's the straw that breaks the camel's back, because it just, I don't know, it just needs to be done, man. And I don't want any these fighters feeling the way I'm feeling right now, because like I said, and this stems back, I can go on and on, but I don't know if you remember the card, the bare knuckle card. It wasn't a bare knuckle fighting championships card. It was called WBKFF, when nobody got paid.
Oh yes, I very familiar with that card. Yes,
I fought on the card.
Oh,
I fought Julian Lane, and we got fight of the night. And me and Julian was supposed to win a brand new Mustang each, and we didn't get the Mustang, and we didn't get paid. So I'm at work. I'm an iron worker. I'm a steel worker. So I work with my hands. And I'm like, shit, I'm not getting paid my $25,000 I was supposed to get. So I have to hide my injury. I'm a southpaw, so I turn over a lot with my left hand. And yet I got to hide my injury, my broken hand, so I don't get sent home from work, because now I got to feed the kids. So that being messed over by that promoter, and then Dave, it all just snowball effect. And I was sitting at this very table. I'm sitting there like this, and my wife is like, what's going on? I'm getting teary-eyed. I'm just like, I'm so sick of doing the right thing. I'm so sick of putting the work in to get a text from Feldman like, good luck with your career. Like a contract isn't legally binding. Like I was worth nothing. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I'm, that was a straw that broke the camel's back for me. I'm like, you know what? I need to not only be the voice of reason, but I need to stick up for all the fighters. And listen, if I got to be devil's advocate and I gotta speak for all the fighters, I will. I have nothing to lose. I only have stuff to gain from this.
Oh, truly. And again, you're being selfless. That's something that we as human beings need to truly learn from. We can all learn from what you're doing, because you're being selfless. You realize that not only is this affecting you, but this is bigger than you, and you're willing to champion that cause.
Yeah. And once again, I wrote my manager and I said, hey, man, can I do all this? He goes, yes, do it tastefully, do it with facts. And I said, with the other organizations that have contracts on my desk, I'm like, will this look bad? And they said, no, everyone knows about BKFC shenanigans, but no one's speaking publicly about it. So I said, cool. And I ran it by him, and now here we are. So I go through my alleyways. I make sure I have a really good team behind me. And I just need, like I said, everyone to be better, man. That's it. And I know I'm not the only. When people wrote me, they were like, wow, I felt that, because we're all going through it. Aries, Zeus. Aries. Because once he starts barking, you're going to feel it in your chest. These dogs are nuts.
Well, they're big dogs. I mean, they're not, I mean, they're not like little chihuahuas. You know what I mean?
He's a couple 100 pounds, this one. He's nosy. He likes to bark at everything. But like I said, we need everyone to be better. And I know it's a long road, and I didn't want to go down this road. I didn't want to sue. I didn't want to be treated like this, but guess what? It happened, and now I'm going to go about it the right way.
Well, see, again, you having the right people, the right team around you, you having your families backing you, your gym supporting you, all of those things factor into why people do what they do, especially fighters. And that's a testament to your wife. That's a testament to your family, your coaches, your manager, is the fact that you felt comfortable enough and knew you had the support of your furry family as well, to go ahead and do what you do proudly and honorably. That's major at the end of the day because it's not a tirade. You're not just blowing off. Now, mind you, like you said earlier, I'm an Irishman.
Yeah.
So the temper's there. we all know the temper's there. We've watched your fights. We've watched you channel that into fighting. So we know it's there. So for you to be able to stay poised, calm, and present yourself and your case in the way that you're doing it, I mean, that's professional. That is the epitome of being professional. And let me tell you, that carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's and there's a reason why my contract had ended on the 19th, and yet I'm just speaking out about it because I said cooler heads prevail, and I have to be able to, even though I was able to challenge it, you still have to go through those proper the proper avenues and make sure that you don't lose sight of the goal and who you are. Because like I said, we've had a lot of fighters over the years, F this and F that, and it just makes them look bad, and it kind of tarnishes their reputation beyond repair. I didn't want to go that route, even though I was emotional. I was, and I'm still upset. But now it's like, I just want to sit back and watch this unfold. And if I can help anyone along the way, I'm going to. And I feel like I said, the outpour and the amount of people that hit me up, I was like, damn. I was like, babe, this is like, I was just venting. I was using Facebook as a therapy session, but trying to help people, and yet, it's going to go beyond just me. It's going to help a lot of other people. So, and like I said, I hope Feldman, I hope Shook, I hope all these guys see it. And maybe they don't look at this as like, oh, well, fuck that guy. And hopefully they look at it as constructive criticism. Because let's be honest, I don't know how to run BKFC. I know what they're doing wrong, but I don't know what they have to go through. But I know how the fighters feel about it. And granted, we are the fighters, right? It starts with us and it ends with us. So I hope they look at this as constructive criticism and just be better.
I agree. Now, we spoke off camera about some of the things you got going on. So definitely tell the listeners and the viewers what's in the future for the Cinderella Man.
Yeah. So my coach Dewey Cooper, he asked me if I'm fighting MMA or bare knuckle, and I could be doing both. Bare knuckle looks like it's going to be my next fight. We're looking sometime in the spring. I don't know the venue yet, or I want to say a lot more. I just don't know if I'm allowed to. So I have to keep it vague, but it looks like it'll be bare knuckle. What I won't be doing is signing multi-fight contracts anymore, just so in case it happens again. I don't want to repeat the same cycle, but it looks like bare knuckle for now. I am 6-1 in MMA on a 6-fight win streak. I think I only lost my pro debut. So I'm not one of these guys that sucked at MMA and then went to bare knuckle. Like I just stopped my great MMA career and was like, let me try bare knuckle. It looks savage. Ragnarok bare knuckle is very interested in me. That's in Norway, and they have a whole Norse like Vikings.
Yeah, I've seen. I'm actually a part of one of their groups that they have on Facebook.
My wife just introduced me to Game of Thrones. I've never seen Game of Thrones, and we just.
Dude,
I know.
You
I'm under a rock apparently, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. And then I'm looking at the Ragnarok stuff, and they got stuff from Vikings and that. I'm like, that's badass. And then Dada 5000, the BYB Backyard Brawl, who I fought for already. It was my second bare knuckle, and I went up knocking that guy out in like 45 seconds. And I'll tell you this, those guys treated me amazing. So those guys are interested in putting me into their 185-pound title tournament, which would be awesome. So, and it's all, like I said, both of these companies has offered me more money than what Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is offering. So, to the fighters, Bare Knuckle is not the only big league. Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships is not the only big organization around. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors. Exercise your options. It's a free market. Test free agency when you can. And that's that. But I personally have dealt with BYB, and they have treated me amazing. I have no complaints about them whatsoever. They were not resistant to my demands. And that was my second bare knuckle fight. The first one is where no one got paid. So I told Dada 5000, dude, I'm still so jaded about breaking my hand a couple months ago and not being paid. I would like to be paid before I get on the flight to Wyoming. Guess what? I had that check in my account before I even flew to Wyoming.
Wow. That's unheard of. That is unheard of.
Absolutely. But he goes, I understand what you're saying. He showed empathy. He sympathized with me. And he goes, you know what? You're the real deal. Let's do it. And I'll never forget that. And they're going to start putting more shows on. So I'm excited for my next. But I will be very busy in 2021. I told everyone I will have a world title wrapped around my waist when it comes to bare knuckle in 2021. So I plan to stay busy.
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing that information. A 185 tournament in BYB Extreme, that's something that's going to garnish a lot of views, bro. A lot of views. For a fact, yours truly, Johnny Quantum, will definitely jump down that rabbit hole and enjoy it fully. Again, been doing the combat sports thing, came up in the boxing thing, grew up in a boxing household. So for me, bare knuckle was just my natural progression. You know what I mean? So, I followed it when it was underground. I saw it on YouTube, you know what I'm saying, from England. But now that it's here and now that it's starting to grow, like you said, more people like yourself who is like, well, you know what? I got the hands. They want to take me down in MMA. I'd rather just throw the hands and not have to worry about my neck, my back, my knees, all the training. I want to throw these hands. And to be given that opportunity, and I've watched you throw hands extremely well. That's obvious. We all know that. You see what I'm saying? So to watch you potentially come up, because we don't know where you're going to land, but to know that there's a potential that we could watch the Cinderella Man handle the business in the triangle, that's something to definitely look forward to. So definitely thank you for sharing that. Now, at this portion of the show, I definitely want to give you the floor. You can give any shout outs to anybody, sponsors, managers, family members, anybody you want to send a message to, give a shout out to. The Cinderella Man, the floor is yours.
I appreciate it. And Johnny, I want to give a huge shout out to you because the time and effort it takes to do the podcasting and to give us fighters a platform, it's amazing. It legitimizes our issues. It legitimizes us as a brand if we're promoting. So trust me, not only me, but all the fighters, on behalf of all the fighters, we appreciate the work you guys do. My sponsor, Alessandro Gelki, dude's amazing. My wife, my kids, it's my team, Dewey Cooper and BK MMA and Team Relentless. Like those guys they push me every single day. And my Egg Weights, my sponsor Egg Weights is, those guys are amazing. I'm going to be coming out with my own, I don't know if you're familiar with Egg Weights are. They're good for shadow.
Yep.
I got Cinderella brand Egg Weights coming out. So they're and just, my message to everyone is to be better. Make 2021 awesome. And if that has to start with being the black sheep and speaking for the greater good and being selfless, so be it.
Now that, my good man, is a powerful message. That sounds like a resolution, quote unquote, to be better. I know for a fact I will look to incorporate that message and continue to incorporate the message that you send out there, because like we spoke about off camera, I got into it so the fighters could have a voice. I do what I do so that they can build their brand, so that they understand that without them, there is no fight game. Bottom line, mind you, it's not about kissing anybody's ass, but it's about giving respect where respect is due. And it's about having a level of understanding across the board. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So again, I thank you so much for not only being who you are, but being the selfless individual to champion a cause that is not only affecting you, but thousands of fighters, not only in America, but around the world. Joey, much props to you. I know you've gained quite a bit of notoriety since you did what you did and said what you said. I got a feeling after the interviews that you've been doing, because you've been on other podcasts, I got a feeling that's going to grow. I got a feeling that you're going to get a lot more support in what you're trying to say. And, I'm happy that you are speaking out, because again, you're doing it the right way. I was raised, there's more than one way to skin a cat, so to speak. Absolutely. And you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. And I'm going to tell you what right now, Cinderella Man, you've gotten a lot of bees, and you know that for a fact. You know your DMs lit up. You got a lot of bees going. We, as a fight community, thank you for doing what you're doing. We're going to be watching you. When you come up, when you do pick an organization, please, please let us know here at the Johnny Quantum Show. We would love to have you back on to talk about what you're doing. When your egg weights come out, feel free. Love to have you back. Let's talk about it. Let's build it up. Let's hype it up. Because I have no problem getting behind someone who will get behind themselves and at least, at minimum, champion their own cause. And you're doing not only that, but going above and beyond in an industry that has been known to literally shelf you, blackball you, blacklist you for life. Mm-hmm. I know that to be true because I've been around the industry for a long time. So I can't thank you enough. The listeners, the viewers can't thank you enough. I can't wait to have you back on the show with a new development on who you pick. Because now my brain is racing like, okay, so who's he gonna go with? Where are we gonna see the Cinderella Man? Is it gonna be overseas? Is it gonna be in the Triangle? Where is it gonna be? Hopefully we can find out here on the Johnny Quantum Show. But again, man, thank you so much for coming on and spending your time. It's been a blast. You are always welcome. If you just want to hang out and chit chat and shoot a fat, bro, you are welcome back on this show anytime you want to.
Well, I'm very excited. Thank you for having me on. This is amazing. It's like I said, I like engagement, so I'm definitely gonna be back on, and I should know within the next couple of weeks who I'm fighting for and when and where and all that fun stuff. So you guys will be the first to know, I promise.
Excellent, excellent. Well, again, thank you for your time, bro. You have a good evening. Thank your family for allowing you to be on because we've been on for about an hour. We kind of talked about it with the family time, so definitely thank them from the Johnny Quantum Show for allowing you to kind of express yourself and get it out there, man. Thank your family for us. We can't wait to talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I'll see you soon.
All right. You are very welcome.
Bye.
All right, everybody. That was Joey Angelo, the Cinderella Man. Now, he's going through some things right now, as he spoke about. But see, he's going through things that a lot of fighters are going through, have gone through, and nobody talks about it really on a main scale. I mean, like I talked about in the interview with him, you've got fighters who have had this issue in the largest organizations in the world, whether that be boxing, whether that be MMA, but it's out there. This man has decided to go against the grain. He's decided to champion his own cause. And anybody who stands up and fights the good fight, that needs to be commended because so many people will sit back and play victim. He is choosing not to be a victim. And that in itself is powerful. He has a message. Don't be average, people. Don't be average. This is just January. You can change your 2021 right now. You can literally leave the past in the past. We all know what last year was like. But 2021 is a new year. And, you know, the message from the Cinderella Man himself, be better. Do better. So, you know how we do it here on the Johnny Quantum Show. You know I have no problem just hopping down the rabbit hole and staying there because that's what we do here in the Johnny Quantum Show. We go quantum, bottom line. So, with that being said, it's that time of the show. Thank y'all for tuning in. Can't wait to be in front of y'all again because you know your boy Johnny Q. I like to do what I do. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great night. And you know how I take it out? Peace.